Those who have been a part of this before, welcome again. Others, thanks for joining in. We have people from all over the world today, which is good. Um, it's always fun to have a different bunch of people or a mix of new and old people. And yeah, so first few minutes, the agenda of this event is to just have a conversation. So please talk to each other, have a conversation. This is probably the new norm. This is probably how things will happen going forward. So just have a conversation, introduce yourself to each other, and yeah, go for it. So we have a few new participants. Aisha, hi. How are you? You're on mute, Aisha. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So, yep, go ahead, have a conversation, talk to each other. We have a lot of people today. Yep.
Hi everyone, how are you doing?
I wanted to have an opinion poll if everyone is interested. Just yes or no answers.
Go for it.
Yeah, that's good.
Will this situation normalize before end of December? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes, yes,
Oh,
hopefully.
Yes.
You'll
and it's
probably
just
have to define what you mean by normalize.
normalize. Well, as I've heard from the introduction of most of the people, they have been job seekers.
Yeah.
So for normalize for them would be opening up of jobs
Yeah.
at a normal scale rather than laying off, which is currently happening right now.
Yeah.
So that's the normal
Yeah.
I'm expecting to them.
Yeah.
So everyone is hopeful. That's good. That's good.
Which is good. Yeah.
I think they're still gonna be laying off you know, even next year. That's what I think.
yeah.
But our jobs gonna be picking up.
Uh, uh, mm.
Good question. Good start for a conversation. So we have a lot of new people. Please go ahead and have a good chat.
I'm
Yeah.
expecting.
I just want to add an opinion here. So I keep hearing that people are getting off and opportunities are drying up. I think people are more focused on mainstream players and hearing the news. So stop watching news and their item provide a negative thought. Open
Yeah.
up LinkedIn, and
Yeah.
I like right now I can open up at least 20 to 25 positions open, and people are looking for uh, right set people with right skill set. And I think you need to look at the right place and the right people and stop thinking negative. BAs, AWS engineers, data scientists, those skills are in demand and there are hundreds of openings. I'm not just making up, and I don't need to give you a specific link. Just go to your LinkedIn for 10 15 minutes, full
Absolutely.
story.
I totally agree with it. Initially, when the corona started, I was all the time into the news. My mobile will be open with the Google page. I stopped that. Honestly speaking, there is no use in watching that. Only if you want to know about the superannuation or if you are eligible for some funds, just go for it, or else just don't look at news at all.
Yeah.
Simply look at other things, watch movies. Or else watch movies. Also, there is very many. There are lots of web series or and LinkedIn. Is I'm honestly saying you will get lots of positive vibe over there.
Absolutely.
And also a quick question to all of you, like how many of you have upskilled or learned a new skill or added a certification during this
Me,
last 2 months?
me.
And how many free
I'm as
certifications?
well.
I'm
Yes.
currently learning SQL, so that's something that I'm doing right now.
Yeah,
Me
get
too.
certified.
I'm learning ISQA. I'm working towards uh uh getting more experience relating to data engineering. Don't know if any of you know a little bit about data engineering or things
Ab-
like that.
Yeah,
Good
I'm
to
I'm
on the
hear
way
studying
that.
to
Python.
learn.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Good to hear that. Good to see that people are doing or trying different stuff, which is very important. during the current situation that we are in. So thanks for all the conversations. I mean, it's been fun. We have a few regulars and we have a few newcomers as well. So I'll just call out the regulars because I always like doing that so that I also know who the regulars are. It's a reminder. So Srikant, Shika, hi. Rakesh, Prakash, hi. Maladi, Mercy has been in a few of them, hi. Jay has been there in the last one as well. Derek has been in the last one too. Everyone else is new, which is absolutely good. And from where are all of us from? I know Jody is from India. Everyone else is from Australia, or
Uh, I'm from India too.
oh, okay, two from India. Who else from outside Australia?
Well, you
This is
mean living in Australia or?
Right now, where are you?
Yeah, Australia.
Yeah,
Sydney. Sydney.
that's good. So good to see a more diverse crowd and a few, I wouldn't say rules per se, keep your video on. The reason I'm saying it, that is at least till the foreseeable future, just like Praful said, will this normalize before December? But at least for the next few months, everything will be online. Be it coffee catch-ups, conversations, interviews, anything will be online. So it's important that you sort out your technical issues right now. Some of them have the issues like the headphone is not working, camera is not working, headphone is not clear, lot of noise, and such issues will always come. So use events like this to make sure that those issues don't happen. Doesn't really matter if you're dressed or not dressed. Doesn't really matter, or your hair is bad. Probably everyone's top issue is their hair is growing and they can't have a haircut right now, which is a mess. I know, but uh, everyone is at that situation, so no one really cares, right? So make sure that you're comfortable in that scenario. And yeah, so let's have a conversation. What's been happening in the past few days? How's things been going? How are you handling the day-to-day stuff? Yeah, so just go ahead. Anyone, we'll spend a few minutes on this. Just go ahead and have a conversation.
Currently working on my this CNA certification for course, which will help me to get this Cisco certified.
Hmm.
So currently I am studying about CCNA, and even studying for my PTE as well, which will hopefully help me to get a PR ahead.
That's good. Probably the right time to invest in upskilling and studying. So I'm just muting everyone. If you are talking, please feel free to unmute and go ahead. This is to reduce noise, background noise. That's all. It's not me saying shut up to people.
Vinesh, can I maybe add to your comment earlier
Go
about
for it.
preparing to talk about, on these online sessions? So I think this is a great opportunity for everyone as well to kind of prepare for those online interviews that companies do have. So check that your camera is working, that your camera is switched on, check that your mic is working, and that all try and be in a quiet place to eliminate all this background. So again, this way you're preparing for those online interviews, and it just looks so much more professional as well and sound professional.
Yeah. It's not that you have to be extra professional, but it should be decent. That's it, right?
Yes, yes. For this,
For
just
this, your
yeah,
background shouldn't be clunky. It shouldn't have all your laundry
yeah,
over there, or your lighting, for example, shouldn't look like this. It doesn't make sense, right? So
yeah,
I have extra lighting to make sure that things work all right. So
yeah,
just minor things to make sure that you are actually serious about this and not just picking up a phone and having a random conversation.
yeah. That's all. I
and
just thought I
and
would
and
share.
and, and it's guaranteed that you'll mess up. A couple of
Yeah,
weeks back,
yeah,
I
completely
did
normal.
a couple of weeks back I did a Facebook live, and it did not have sound in that. It was just video streaming and me doing this. Right, so I hopefully last time it went well, it went all right, and hopefully right now it's also going well. So it's all a trial and error if things are working and how things are. And yeah.
On that same topic, I have an offer. If
Yep.
anybody wants to connect and see their mic, video, everything is working, you can connect to me 101. But the only thing I would request is you'll have to chat with me for 15 minutes minimum.
That's a
You,
really good offer. Yeah,
you are a
so
tester.
that's a really good offer. So again, if you all want to connect over LinkedIn, please put your LinkedIn URL in the chat so that the people can connect to each other. Go for it. There is no other effective way to connect sure everyone else is connected. And I'd also like to play a small game over here. Can everyone turn on their videos, please?
Yeah, sure.
And let's on the chat box, please type in who has the best video. And by best, you mean, which looks better, which looks professional. And yeah, just type on the chat. Let's see who's doing the best. I will obviously say my name, but I see most people have an issue of camera angle. People are either looking down or looking up. The sweet spot there is your camera should be on your eye level.
Well, I just am able to see 5 videos at a time.
Okay.
Is it
So
so?
you have a problem with that. Okay. So probably I can share that later on. So there is
Yeah,
a
even I have the same
there
problem. I can see
there
only
is
five.
a Chrome what do you call it, extension which
Okay.
helps you add more people. So I just shared that in the comment. Did I not?
Yes, you
You
did.
did.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did.
Okay. I can't see it. Okay, it's down. Okay. So if you add that, you can see everyone on the screen. So that's how I
Oh,
have a view of everyone.
Right.
I think
wow.
Google Meet will add those features soon. But yeah. So we have some votes. So Jody says, Vinesh, thank you. I knew it. Ragesh says, Praful. Where's Praful? Yeah, Praful has a good view as well. Shika says, Mercia. Good. Riju says, Praful. So I think Praful has 2 votes right now. Gauri says, Vinesh. Yeah. Jaydev says, Aisha. Yeah, I like Aisha's. It's minimalistic and yeah, it has stuff. Maladi says Shika. Shika, I'm not very sure. She's looking down on the phone. Now she's better, yeah. So she's holding a phone. And if you're doing
Yeah, I'm
for,
logged in from my
yeah,
phone.
if you're doing formal interviews, I recommend not to use phone. Or if you're using a phone, make sure it's stable somewhere. Don't hold it in your hand. It's a very bad thing to do.
Yeah, I
Srikant,
just moved.
yeah,
Sorry.
this event is fine. You can do anything in this event. Absolutely fine, right? So yeah. Prakash, your headphone is making noise again. I'm muting you. Sorry. So Srikant says Israel. Where is Israel? Where is Israel? I'm
Hi,
trying to
hi.
find. Yeah. Okay. Your camera quality is bad though. You are
Yes,
completely
really
blurred.
bad. Yeah. Of course, yeah.
Ragesh Nair says Ragesh. You're very confident, Ragesh. Well done. Yashdeep says Vinesh. Sochi says Praful. Gauri says, sorry guys, I can see only Vinesh. So I think there's a panel side on the bottom where you can change the view. But I've also shared a Chrome extension which enables you to see everyone in the screen as well. So go ahead and install that. I've shared it. I shared it in the chat. So that was a fun game. So I think we have a full house except Wasim. Everyone is turned their video on. Wasim, would you like to turn on your video? Yeah. Hi, Wasim.
Right.
Thanks for joining. So this is fun. So we were just playing a game as in who has the best camera view. And from if I remember correctly, Praful has a lot of votes, and obviously I have a lot of votes, which is good. Now, coming back to the agenda. So people who are new in this event, they know how this goes. So we just chit chat for a few minutes, and then I'll pick a couple of questions which is submitted by you in the Google form. and we'll just talk about it, right? So if you don't know how to find the Google form, the question, it is there in the meetup description. The first line in the meetup description is a Google form where you can submit your questions. I'll pick up a few questions and talk a few minutes on that. So today's questions, I picked two questions, but I just saw that there are more questions right now. So I'll go with the pick questions. First question is by Paris. Paris says, how to initiate the discussion with someone, say hiring manager or recruiters, with the intention of selling one's skills and getting an interview call. So no easy answer for it. Selling is not an easy thing to do. If you are into marketing, if you are a salesman, you probably know how hard it is. And I always like to put yourself on the other side of the road. If a salesman approaches you, how do you react? If you get a random phone call saying, "Hey, I'm calling from XYZ bank. I would like to offer you a personal loan. Would you like to have a personal loan?" And how do you respond to that call? 90% of the time you probably don't even pick the call. The moment you see a unknown number on your phone, you probably don't even pick the call. But if you if you pick the call and they say, "Hey, I'm offering a personal loan, would you like to have one?" You may be like, okay, maybe not sure, kind of thing, right? So that is called jumping the gun. That's what most job seekers do. And when job seekers connect to someone, their only intention is to make them get a referral. That's your only objective, unfortunately. And most messages that you send is, "Hey, I'm new here in Australia. I'm blah blah blah. Here's my resume. Can you share it to your network?" Worst approach ever to go on a job search strategy. Never sell yourself as your first message. I always say, build a relationship, build a connection, show what you can do, add value, or in short, give before you take. And by giving, it doesn't mean that you have to give something solid. It doesn't mean that you have to give something tangible. No, it's just about having a conversation. For example, during this time, just check in how that person is doing, how the work is going, how is the person, is he doing well, how is work going for them, is their industry impacted. Have a conversation, random conversation, and have this consistently, probably over a week, 2 to 3 times, so that the person knows, hey, this is this person. And that everyone knows that people are reaching out to me because they need something, but that person hasn't asked me anything yet. So that will increase the curiosity in me. And eventually when they ask that person, okay, I have a context around it. So it's always important that you build that relationship, build that rapport before you ask for help. And that's the most important thing I'd like to say. And if it's on LinkedIn, I've said this 100 times before, follow that person before connecting to that person. Follow that person, comment on his the post that he make, and not simple one word comments like thanks, agreed, impressive, not one word cut off comments like that. Instead, engage a conversation. Say, this was very thoughtful, however I'm thinking, what would this lead to, or something like that, a question, right? And let the conversation happen in there. And a week or 2 weeks down the lane, they know, if you consistently do this, they know, hey, this person is really interested in my work. I'd like to really have a conversation with this person. And then maybe 2 weeks down the lane, connect to this person and send a message saying that, hey, we had a lovely discussion on all the content that you put across. I'd like to discuss more on this over a coffee, or as we do now, a virtual coffee. Would you like to have a catch up, right? So and that's when it's more effective, than rather than just going with an intention that I need a referral from that person. Okay, so that was that. Thanks for that question, Boris. Next question. How does ATS track the format of CV? This question is by Sakshi. Is she here? Sakshi? No, I don't know. You're Sakshi? Aisha is Sakshi? Okay, good. So how does ATS track the format of CV? Should CV be in a general format, or can the format be altered? Example, narrow margins in Word document, different formats for CV. How many of you know what an ATS is?
Applicant tracking system.
Yeah, so ATS is an applicant tracking system. Consider it as a robot who filters your resume, right? So how many of you have a software background? A few of you. So people who have a software background know that if you have developed some product, if it is expecting an input, you give any other input, your software is going to crash, right? So the same thing happens over here as well, but just that ATS is a very complicated system, and there is no set. I mean, think of ATS is a kind of a software. It's like what do I say? It's a document kind of software. We have Microsoft Word, we have Google Sheet, Google Docs, we have Open Office, and tons of things like that, right? So each ATS system might work in a different way, but there is a underlying principle that you shouldn't do XYZ if you want your ATS to get through to your or if you want your resume to get through to the system. And a few things that common advice is: avoid photos, avoid logos, any sort of logos, avoid any sort of fancy stuff, coloring, fancy formatting, avoid a column based format. I see resumes, has a left column which has your description and stuff like that, and right column has everything else. Avoid that. Avoid tables, and this is kind of controversial. Some say tables do work, some say tables do not work, but if there is a doubt in there and if some people say it doesn't work, why risk it? It's not like tables will make your resume so much better. Avoid tables, because tables have different stuff and it might screw up the format. These are the common things. Is there anything else, Mercia, that you have come across?
I think it's important for people that don't use too much color, just easy reading, short and sweet. Keep it short and sweet. I attended a networking session the other day as well, and the lady said maximum 2 pages on your resume. So as soon as it starts getting too much and too much wording and it's all over the show, they don't read it. So keep it short, sweet, and powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep in mind that you have to target both audiences. I mean, if you beat the ATS, the resume will go to a human. And if it's not human readable, or it doesn't look really nice, or in a simple way, you'll fail there as well. So you have to target your resumes. And if you're handing over a resume to a person, for example, it need not be exactly ATS compliant. So always keep in mind who you are sending. If, say, for example, if you're sending the resume to a hiring manager, you can make sure that it's a bit more personalized. It's a bit more readable rather than just applying on an online system. Applying on an online system, 90% of the time it goes through an ATS, and shit happens there. So always be mindful of who your target is over there as well.
Hi Vinesh, I have a question regarding resume.
Go for it, Jada.
Yeah. So now, whenever if I'm writing about any particular skill, that how I learned this skill. Suppose I say I learned Java, which was in my master course. So now, what's your take on highlighting or making the particular words bold, like making Java in a bold and capital letters, so that it would be easily catchable by the person who reads it?
If it's a few bold words, okay. But I've seen resumes where 70% of the text was bold. That defeats the whole purpose, right? So if it's a few words here and there, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But don't overdo it. Don't overdo bolding. Don't overdo italics. Don't overdo underlines and stuff like that. Don't overdo anything. The idea is to keep it simple. If you want some things to pop, go ahead and make it bold, but don't overdo it. It's very important.
Yeah, I think it's also important that you make sure that your skills match on the job application as well. I speak to talk to a lot of people every day, and some people, I'm in the IT industry, and a lot of people they're just applying for anything and everything. But you're not going to get any phone calls if your skills are not up to date with all that, everything and anything that you're applying for. And it's important, to have some form of experience on those tools. So at the end of the day is make sure that the job you're applying for, that your resume match that application, and use the keywords that they use in that job application, because that's what that system will kind of pick up, is those keywords.
Okay, so is it recommended for resume, and so is it recommended just for cover letters or for resume as well?
Well, it depends. Some people like a cover letter, some people don't like a cover letter. So just make sure if your cover letter, what your cover letter is saying, is matching your resume. If they're not going to correspond, they're going to be like, what's going on here?
Careful by matching, don't copy paste. Your resume and cover letter shouldn't be the same content. So be careful on that as well.
I have a small question.
But with cover letters, take it mindfully, as in most recruiters that I've talked to say that they don't care about cover letters. But that doesn't mean cover letters are not important. No. But this is the common feedback that I get. If they like your resume, they'll definitely look at your resume first. If they like your resume and they want some more information, that's when they'll go to your cover letter.
Okay, right? This is a new information for me.
So cover letter, yes, absolutely important. I won't say don't give importance to it, but don't let any crucial or critical information on your cover letter and not in your resume. That's a big mistake.
Yeah.
I have a question to Marcia. She discussed a lot of things about how we need to proceed with the cover letter and the resume when applying for jobs. So I have a question. Applying for jobs, and when they see the job requirements, they actually pick out a lot of words which they actually don't do in their real life, and they don't have those particular skills, but just in order to get their application through the hiring manager, so they put a lot of words in that. So how do we actually deal with that, and what sort of words we should actually look for, even if we don't have all the skills that are mentioned in the job requirements?
Yeah, look, it's I don't know, from what I've been talking to with people, it's important to make sure that that's how I say it's important to let your skills match. Can you work on those tools and technologies that's being used at that company? So make sure that that's what I'm saying. Can you work on those tools and technologies that's being used at that company? And then do your resume according to that. If you can work on those tools and technologies, add that. But make sure that you, again, use the correct wording. It should be you writing it. Don't use a general resume and send that general resume for all the jobs you apply for. That's why what they use in the job, in the ad, use some of those words in your resume as well. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that answers my
couple
question.
Of points
Thank
I'll
you
add
very
to
much.
That. Good question, Sakshi. Thanks for that. Are you Sakshi or Aisha? Sorry.
Sakshi.
Okay. Good question.
You can call me anything.
Yeah. Good question, Sakshi, and thanks for your response, Mercy. I'll add 2 points to that. Never copy paste whole sentences to your resume from anywhere. Recruiters go through thousands of resumes, and the moment they read the first few words, they know it's a copy paste. And I always say I'm a nobody. I've probably seen hundreds of resumes. The moment I read the first sentence, I know that's a copy paste, and you have put absolutely no thought into it. It's easy to figure out that. That's one. Second thing, my favorite quote from Jonathan: when a recruiter posts a requirement, say hypothetically they need a square. This is the requirement. They need a square. You're saying, hey, I'm a rectangle, but I'm a square as well. But here, the recruiter doesn't want a rectangle. He needs a square. There's no point in saying that you're a rectangle, but I've done the work of a square as well. That doesn't work that way. The recruiter always tries to matches the job description to your profile. And if there is no match over there, the recruiter will be like, nah, he's not a square. I don't want a non-square application for you, right? So always make sure that your resume reflects or matches what the job description is saying there. Yes, you might be much more, but do not highlight that, at least in the first 2/3 of your resume. The first 2/3 of your resume is the most absolutely critical section, and that should include the details that the recruiter has to know, not everything else. So if you have done 10 things, don't highlight 10 things in your first 2/3 of your resume. Just highlight the things that are most crucial or critical for that role. Very important.
Yeah, show them the value that you can add to their team and their projects. That's what they want to see. Is what value are you going to bring to that company, their team, and their projects?
Absolutely.
All right.
Good question. So that's all questions from me today. Do you have any questions for me related to any conversation that happened today?
I have a small question.
Yep.
So, as you said, that's a great point, altering the resume for according to the job description. I'll be doing, for suppose I have two jobs which have different descriptions, so I'll be altering my resume according to that and applying. But what if the recruiter also checks my LinkedIn profile? I can't alter the LinkedIn profile which suits both the job description. So how I can manage my LinkedIn profile when the situation is like that?
My answer is do not target two completely different roles. If they are slightly, there's a slight overlap, fine, go for it. But for example, do not target software developer and software tester roles. So if you say, I can do software development, I can do testing, I can do BA, you're not going to go anywhere. As I said, they need a square. Give them a square. Don't say you're a rectangle, but you have done a square as well. And your story should be consistent across all platforms. It should be, you should have a consistent story on your resume, on your LinkedIn, and on your cover letter. That's very important. LinkedIn, absolutely. If you say you're applying for a developer role and your resume reflects that, and if your LinkedIn says you're a tester, that's it. Your application won't be processed, right? Unless you have something in your cover letter that explains why you are applying for this role. It explains, hey, my primary experience is in testing, but I'd like to do this and I have the experience to do that. So if you have a story that connects the dots, maybe you have a chance, but if the person doesn't take a look at your cover letter, you're gone.
Good. Thank you.
I think that's that then. Thanks, Mercia, for all your input. So for those of you who don't know Mercia works as a business development manager at an organization called Industry Connect. So what they do is they train you to get industry ready. I think they have some technical courses which you get trained on, and they help you get an work placement or an internship and slowly get into the market. Look up at for Industry Connect. They're doing some excellent work. Go for it if you need some help, or if you need to upskill on something, or if you're looking to transition into some new technology. Just take a look at them. Last request from me, can everyone smile for a couple of seconds? I'll take a selfie over here. So on the count of 3, I'll take a selfie. Just give me a minute. I think few people left. They missed the selfie. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, got it.
Awesome.
Thank you. That was
Nice to see smiling faces.
Nice to see so many people turning on their video. I'm actually happy to see that. It never used to be the case. And it's always tricky for me because I'm so used to talking on meetups, talking to a face and reading what they're going through, and now talking to a camera, it's a completely different experience. So
even for you.
Sorry?
Even for you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone was part of my monthly meetup in this group. I think Suchi was a part of it. Okay, Shika was a part of it. So my monthly meetup is a heavily interactive session. So I chat with people, I read upon, I ask questions like, what do you think happened next? And when I ask the same question, right, it automatically comes. I'm like, okay, I'm not getting any response. What do I do now? Right? So it's weird. And looking at people as well. My screen is over here. I have a laptop over here, and the camera is over here. So I have to always make sure that I look here, not here, and get distracted by whatever is happening. Right? So these are all the small skills that you also have to pick up while doing a video chat. Malati has an offer today. She'll, have a 15-minute chat with her if you need some information. So go for it as well. That was a fun offer, Malati. Thanks for that. I'm hoping in the future more people will give that offer. The next catch up, which is on Saturday, after the usual session, if you have 10 to 15 minutes to spare, I'm testing a new platform for my monthly meetup. So if you'd like to be a part of it, please have 10 to 15 minutes extra available after the event, that is, so that we can try that out as well. Anything else? Otherwise, we'll wrap up for the day, and I'll hopefully see you on Saturday. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Please copy your chat conversation before you log out. After you log out, you can't see it. So copy it. Make sure you have a copy, and if you're connected to people on LinkedIn. Otherwise, thank you so much for being a part of this event.
Thank you.
I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.